The mysterious passing of Annabelle's handler, Dan Rivera. The mystery surrounding the Annabelle doll has fascinated people for decades, but a new chapter has been added to the legend with the sudden passing of Dan Rivera, the doll's longtime handler and lead paranormal investigator. Rivera, aged 54, passed away on the 13th of July, 2025, while touring the United States with the infamous Annabelle doll. His unexpected passing has stirred curiosity, sorrow and speculation, adding yet another layer to the already chilling lore associated with the doll. Dan Rivera was not just the caretaker of Annabelle, he was her protector, researcher, and interpreter for the public. A native of Connecticut and a dedicated member of the New England Society for Psychic Research, Rivera played a crucial role in maintaining the legacy of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the original investigators who had first acquired the doll. Unlike the porcelain version made famous by films in the Conjuring universe, the real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll kept under strict precautions due to her alleged spiritual associations. Rivera had been touring with the doll as part of the Devils on the Run tour, educating the public about its paranormal history and presence. During a weekend event hosted in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Rivera was staying at a local hotel while Annabelle was on display at the Haunted Orphanage, a location known for its own supernatural folklore. On the morning of the 13th of July, Rivera was found in his hotel room by staff. Pennsylvania State Police later confirmed that nothing suspicious had been observed at the scene, and the cause of his passing is still pending official determination. The event shocked many within the paranormal community and beyond. Rivera had become a well-known and respected figure for his level-headed approach to investigating the unexplained. His work was focused not just on spectacle, but on documentation, preservation, and public education. Fellow investigator Chris Gilleran expressed deep sorrow, sharing on the New England Society for Psychic Research social media page that Rivera had been more than a colleague. He had been a close friend and an irreplaceable presence within the team. He praised Rivera's dedication to the field and his sincere passion for helping others understand the world of the unexplained. The eerie timing of Rivera's passing, while actively touring with one of the most infamous haunted objects in the world, has not gone unnoticed. For some, the coincidence is purely that, a tragic event that occurred during a moment of professional travel. For others, it raises unsettling questions. The Annabelle doll has long been regarded as an object that should not be taken lightly. Stories of strange happenings, sudden misfortunes, and even unexplained events have followed her wherever she has gone. Although investigators always take strict precautions during public exhibitions, many believe that the energy attached to the doll is unpredictable and at times overwhelming. Despite the somber circumstances, the tour will continue. The Annabelle doll is scheduled to appear in Augusta, Maine on the 6th and 7th of September, followed by events in Rock Island, Illinois, and Lexington, Kentucky throughout October. Those working with the New England Society for Psychic Research have vowed to carry on Rivera's mission, educating the public while respecting the seriousness of the objects in their care. What makes this story so compelling is not only the mystery of Annabelle herself, but the deeply human element behind it. Dan Rivera was a real person with a passion for the unknown, a calm voice in a field often filled with fear and speculation. His sudden absence leaves both a personal and professional void, and many are left wondering whether the circumstances surrounding his final days were just an unfortunate coincidence or something more. The legacy of Dan Rivera will likely be remembered alongside that of Annabelle, intertwined in a story that blends historical lore, modern investigation, and the eternal question of what lies beyond the world we see. While the mystery of the doll continues to travel across the country, the memory of the man who cared for her will also journey on, etched into the strange, unfolding history of the paranormal. The story of the bulletproof president that was removed from history books. The story of George Washington's extraordinary survival during the French and Indian War remains one of the most remarkable and mysterious episodes of his early life. Long before he would become commander of the Continental Army or the first president of the United States, Washington was a young officer facing what would become one of the bloodiest military defeats in colonial history. The events of the 9th of July, 1755, during a disastrous encounter near Fort Duquesne, not only revealed Washington's courage and resilience, but also left many believing he was divinely protected, destined for a greater purpose. At just 23 years old, Washington was serving as a colonel in the Virginia militia during the French and Indian War, a conflict between Britain and France over territorial claims in North America. The war took place nearly 2 decades before the American Revolution, yet it set the stage for many of the tensions and relationships that would define the years ahead. In this particular campaign, the British sought to remove the French from the strategically vital Fort Duquesne, located in what is now Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. General Edward Braddock, leading a force of 2,300 British soldiers, had selected Washington and 100 Virginia militiamen to accompany him. Together, a smaller detachment of approximately 1,300 troops pushed northward through the Pennsylvania wilderness, intent on expelling the French and securing control of the Ohio Valley. However, only 7 miles from their destination, the British column marched straight into an ambush. Hidden among the trees and underbrush, French forces and their Native American allies launched a devastating attack from both sides of a wooded ravine. Trained in traditional European tactics, Braddock's troops responded by lining up shoulder to shoulder in the open, as they had been taught. But European-style warfare was of little use in the dense forest. The enemy, skilled in guerrilla tactics, fired from behind trees, rocks and logs with precision and speed. What followed was 2 hours of brutal chaos. During this time, George Washington rode tirelessly back and forth across the battlefield, delivering orders and attempting to organize a panicked and disoriented force. Officers were the primary targets, and of the 86 British and American officers on the field that day, 63 were taken down. Miraculously, Washington remained unharmed. He was the only officer left on horseback by the end of the battle. At least 2 horses were struck beneath him, and when he later removed his coat, he discovered 4 holes pierced clean through it, yet not a single scratch marked his skin. In the days following the battle, Washington led the remaining soldiers in a retreat to Fort Cumberland in western Maryland, arriving there on the 17th of July, 1755. The following day, he wrote a letter to his family recounting the astonishing events. He acknowledged what he believed to be divine intervention, stating that he had been protected beyond all human probability. For Washington, the events of that day were not merely a matter of chance. They were a sign of purpose and calling. 15 years later, in the year 1770, long after the war had ended and during a time of peace, Washington returned to the very woods where the ambush had taken place. Accompanied by his close friend Dr. James Craik, he reflected on the events that had shaped his early career. It was during this visit that an old Native American chief traveled a long distance to meet him. The chief claimed he had been a leader during the ambush 15 years prior and had given direct orders for his warriors to focus their attention on the officers. According to the chief, Washington had stood out on the battlefield, and he himself had taken aim at the young officer 17 times, each time without success. Recognizing that Washington seemed untouched by danger and believing that he was protected by a higher power, the Great Spirit, the chief eventually told his warriors to stop targeting him. Sitting across from Washington at a council fire, the chief said he had come to see the young warrior of that great battle, to pay homage to the one who, in his eyes, was favored by heaven and destined never to fall in battle. This strange and powerful story, passed down through generations, became more than just a tale of wartime courage. It came to symbolize the belief that George Washington's life was being guided by something greater. Whether one views it through the lens of faith, fate, or fortune, the events of that day in 1755 remain one of the most compelling mysteries of his life. The Phantom Submarine of World War II. During the intense years of the Second World War, many mysterious events unfolded across the globe, both on land and at sea. Among the most puzzling were the encounters reported by Allied naval forces with what became known as phantom submarines, strange underwater vessels that could not be linked to any known navy. These mysterious sightings, spanning several years of the conflict, stirred fear, confusion, and endless speculation. Were they secret enemy experiments, technological prototypes far ahead of their time, or perhaps something entirely unexplained? Throughout the war, Allied ships frequently operated in hostile waters, often engaged in battles with German U-boats and Japanese submarines. Yet not every submarine encountered matched known patterns or identification. On several occasions, warships reported engaging undersea craft that evaded sonar detection, vanished without a trace, or displayed speeds and maneuverability far beyond what contemporary submarines were believed capable of. Some crews spoke of torpedoes launched from unknown depths or sonar contacts that would appear and then suddenly vanish. What made these encounters so compelling was the consistent confusion that followed. After-action reports described submarines behaving in ways that defied normal technology. They moved silently, evaded advanced detection equipment, and in some cases were spotted where no enemy vessels should have been. These were not isolated incidents. Similar reports emerged from the Atlantic, the Pacific, and even the icy Arctic waters. Yet in every case, no confirmed identification was ever made. No known German, Japanese, or Italian submarine fleet claimed responsibility for these mysterious appearances. Speculation ran wild. Some military experts believed the sightings could be attributed to enemy prototypes. There were whispers of German U-boats undergoing secret modifications, long-range submarines, or high-speed models that were never officially documented. Others thought the Phantom submarines might be remnants of an early experimental branch of naval engineering, vessels created for stealth operations and kept hidden from mainstream military records. However, not everyone was convinced that these unexplained underwater encounters had earthly explanations. A small number of sailors and officers suggested that something else entirely might have been at play. The silence, the strange movement, the vanishing signatures, all pointed, they believed, to a force or presence beyond current understanding. Some even linked the reports to other unusual phenomena recorded during the war, such as unidentified flying objects seen by pilots over Europe and the Pacific. Though these Phantom submarines were never confirmed or recovered, they remain a part of Second World War lore. Their presence added a layer of uncertainty to already dangerous waters, and the fact that no clear explanation was ever found only deepened the mystery. The war was full of secrets, codes, spies, hidden weapons, but the Phantom submarine stands out because it was never fully explained, and it left no solid trace behind. To this day, the story of the Phantom submarine continues to spark debate. Whether the answer lies in forgotten enemy technology, secret Allied tests, or something beyond ordinary science, it serves as a powerful reminder that even in the age of modern warfare, there are still things that defy explanation. The mystery of the clown craze. In the late summer of the year 2016, a strange and unsettling phenomenon swept across multiple countries. Individuals dressed as sinister-looking clowns began appearing in unusual and often eerie locations, standing silently in forests, loitering near schools, or lurking on quiet roads at dusk. The first widely publicized sighting occurred in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where photographs of a shadowy clown carrying black balloons circulated rapidly online. This particular case was later revealed to be part of a marketing stunt for a local horror film. However, what began as a promotional effort quickly spiraled into a global phenomenon that no one could fully explain. Within weeks, clown sightings were reported in nearly every region of the United States. By the middle of October of that same year, reports had emerged from nearly every American state, 9 out of 13 Canadian provinces and territories, and 18 other nations around the world, including the United Kingdom and Australia. Individuals described seeing clowns peering into windows, standing still near playgrounds, and sometimes chasing or frightening bystanders. These sightings ignited widespread concern, especially among parents, educators, and local law enforcement. In some cases, schools were placed on temporary lockdowns, and police increased patrols in areas where clown activity had been reported. Though the events reached a fever pitch in 2016, the roots of the phenomenon stretch back to earlier years. Since as early as 2013, social media platforms have occasionally erupted with images and videos of people dressed as unsettling clowns in public areas. These earlier instances were rare and generally dismissed as pranks, but they laid the groundwork for what would later become a viral trend. Once the images from Green Bay captured public attention, the idea spread rapidly, fueled by internet culture, word of mouth, and mass media coverage. What puzzled many observers was how quickly the clown craze vanished. By the end of November of 2016, sightings dropped off as rapidly as they had begun. Law enforcement cracked down on individuals involved. Some were issued citations or arrested for causing disturbances, and public interest seemed to shift elsewhere. Without warning, the red-nosed figures that had haunted neighborhoods and dominated headlines were gone. The sudden disappearance of the clown sightings remains a mystery in itself. Some theorists suggest that the phenomenon was driven almost entirely by viral momentum. Once the novelty wore off, the sightings ceased. Others believe the increased presence of law enforcement, along with legal consequences for those caught, discouraged further impersonations. A smaller group speculates that the phenomenon tapped into deeper psychological or cultural fears, a reflection of society's discomfort with things that appear joyful on the surface but hint at something darker beneath. Despite numerous explanations, no single reason fully accounts for both the spread and sudden vanishing of the creepy clown phenomenon. It remains a modern mystery, a peculiar event where costume, fear, social media, and group behavior collided in a way that briefly captivated the world, then vanished as quickly as it had appeared. The mystery of the catman of Greenock. In the quiet town of Greenock, Scotland, nestled along the River Clyde, an eerie figure has long captured the imagination of locals. Known simply as the Catman of Greenock, he has become a strange and enduring part of local folklore. Described by many as an elusive figure who roams the streets and alleys with feline-like behavior, the Catman is as much mystery as man. Though his true origins remain unknown, stories about him have been passed down through generations, blending fact with fiction and shadow with truth. For decades, residents have reported brief, often unsettling sightings of a man crawling through dark corners of the town, covered in grime, with eyes that reflect the night like a cat's. One of his most recognizable features is a distinctive scar across his face, adding to the mystery that already surrounds his presence. Some claim he has not aged in years, while others say he has disappeared and reappeared multiple times throughout recent decades, always seeming to vanish just as curiosity begins to rise again. According to local legend, the Catman was once a Russian sailor who came ashore in Greenock many years ago. The story goes that he found himself far from home, and after an unfortunate encounter with a group of unfriendly locals, his legs were badly injured, leaving him unable to walk upright. With no home and no support, he took to the alleys and abandoned spaces, surviving off what he could find. Some say he adapted to his surroundings by crawling, finding safety in the shadows, and feeding off scraps and small creatures, especially rats. Over time, his behavior, appearance, and survival instincts gave rise to the name Catman. While many believe this story to be little more than myth, photographs and personal accounts suggest otherwise. Several images have emerged over the years, showing a man with an unmistakable appearance, mud-covered, crouched, and seemingly living in the hidden places of the town. Witnesses claim he does not speak and prefers to retreat when spotted. Yet, despite his quiet nature, there are those in Greenock who say they have left food out for him, noting that it vanishes by morning. The mystery of the Catman deepened after a period during which he was not seen for several years. Some believed he had passed away or simply moved on, but to the surprise of many, sightings began again in recent years, with newer images surfacing, showing what appears to be the same man, older but still unmistakably the same figure, marked by that same haunting scar and familiar crouched stance. Despite the eerie nature of the legend, many people in Greenock feel a deep sense of sympathy for the Catman. While his story has been twisted into something almost mythical, with tales of animalistic behavior and survival in the shadows, the reality behind the mystery seems far more human and tragic. Those who have seen him up close describe not a creature of the night, but a vulnerable man shaped by hardship. Beneath the rumors and ghost stories is someone who, at some point, was left behind by society. Residents who have lived in the area for many years recall first hearing about the Catman as children. What began as playground whispers or spooky stories told at night slowly transformed into something more complex. As people grew older, they began to recognize that the man behind the legend may have been living with significant physical challenges, strain, or simply misfortune. Rather than a figure to fear, many locals now view him with quiet compassion. Over the years, some residents have left food or blankets in places where they believed the Catman might find them. Others have tried, without success, to reach out or offer help. Yet, the Catman has always chosen solitude, retreating into the safety of hidden places. This continued distance has only fueled the stories that surround him, and unfortunately, his quiet suffering has become the foundation of an urban myth that doesn't fully capture the truth. Many now reflect on how his life, already marked by hardship, has been further shaped by a legend that sometimes dehumanizes him. There is a growing sentiment among Greenock's people that the stories, while intriguing, may have overshadowed the individual behind them. It is easy to forget, when discussing the shadowy figure crawling through alleyways, that this is a real person, someone who likely faced loss, pain, and rejection long before becoming the subject of whispered tales. The mystery of the Black Angel. Tucked near the north side of Iowa City lies Oakland Cemetery, a peaceful resting place that has existed since the year 1843. While the grounds are filled with history, it's not the age of the land that draws constant visitors, but rather one towering figure within it. Rising above the gravestones stands a statue known far and wide as the Black Angel, a monument both admired and feared. Shrouded in mystery and superstition, this dark figure has become one of Iowa's most talked-about local legends. The statue was erected in the year 1913 and stands over 8.5 feet tall, or approximately 2.6 meters. Cast in bronze, the angel was once a gleaming symbol of remembrance. Over the years, however, the metal darkened, and with that change came a wave of stories and eerie speculation. Locals say the angel's color turned black overnight, which many believe was not the result of natural oxidation, but rather something more spiritual, or even cursed. Many in the area have long believed that the Black Angel brings misfortune to those who dare disrespect it. It is said that anyone who kisses the statue, touches it without permission, or visits with ill intentions may experience extraordinary bad luck. Whether these are simple warnings meant to protect the statue or genuine cautionary tales, the fear they inspire is very real to many. Some have claimed to suffer relationship trouble, physical mishaps, or financial loss after interacting with the statue. Though these events cannot be definitively linked to the Black Angel, the stories persist across generations. Visitors continue to flock to Oakland Cemetery to see the statue for themselves. For some, the angel is a stunning piece of artistry and history. For others, it represents something more mysterious, perhaps a warning or a guardian of the resting souls nearby. The figure's wings, bowed head, and downward gaze all contribute to an air of solemnity, as though the statue itself is silently mourning. Whether viewed as beautiful or unsettling, the presence of the Black Angel is undeniable. The most popular night to visit is, unsurprisingly, Halloween. On this night, brave individuals make their way to the cemetery in hopes of glimpsing the statue under the moonlight, sometimes daring each other to get too close. Despite its reputation, no confirmed incidents have ever been officially tied to the statue, yet stories continue to surface year after year. What keeps the legend alive may not be the statue itself, but the power of belief. The Black Angel of Oakland Cemetery stands as a symbol of mystery, not just because of its appearance, but because of the stories that surround it. Its silence holds secrets that may never be uncovered, making it a quiet but powerful figure in Iowa's folklore. Whether one believes the legends or simply respects the mystery, the Black Angel continues to watch over the cemetery, drawing curious hearts to its feet and daring them to wonder. In October 2017, a mysterious and massive disc-shaped object was observed close to the Sun by the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, a spacecraft operated by NASA and the European Space Agency. This discovery quickly caught the attention of UFO researchers and the general public alike, sparking debates about the nature of the object and its possible implications. Many questioned whether this was a naturally occurring astronomical phenomenon, a technological glitch, or something more extraordinary, perhaps even extraterrestrial. The Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, launched in 1995, has been instrumental in monitoring the Sun's activity, capturing images and data that help scientists understand solar phenomena such as sunspots, solar flares, and coronal mass ejections. The spacecraft's instruments have provided invaluable insights into the behavior of our closest star and its impact on the solar system. However, on October 27, 2017, the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory captured an image that was unlike any typical solar event. The image in question showed a large disc-shaped object seemingly hovering near the sun. The object appeared dark against the bright backdrop of the sun's corona, casting a stark contrast that made it difficult to ignore. Its shape was distinct and symmetrical, bearing an uncanny resemblance to the classic depiction of a flying saucer. What made the observation even more intriguing was the object's apparent size. Given its proximity to the sun, the disk would have to be enormous, possibly several times the size of Earth, to be visible at such a distance. The appearance of the disc-shaped object near the sun did not go unnoticed. Almost immediately after the images were released, they circulated widely across social media, UFO forums, and websites. Enthusiasts of extraterrestrial life and UFOs were quick to propose that the object was an alien spacecraft, possibly engaged in some kind of solar harvesting activity or monitoring Earth from a distance. The fact that the object was observed near the sun, a symbol of life-giving energy, added fuel to the speculation that extraterrestrial beings might be harnessing the sun's power. On the other hand, skeptics and scientists approached the image with caution. Whether the disc-shaped object was a digital artifact, an optical illusion, or something more mysterious, the incident raises important questions about our understanding of the universe and the limitations of our current technology. The excitement generated by such sightings underscores the deep human curiosity about the unknown, particularly the possibility of extraterrestrial life. It also highlights the importance of maintaining a critical and scientific approach to analyzing such phenomena, ensuring that we do not jump to conclusions without thorough investigation. This event also serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by scientists working in the field of solar observation. The sun is an incredibly dynamic and powerful star, emitting a vast array of electromagnetic radiation and particles that can interfere with even the most advanced instruments. As our technology continues to improve, so too will our ability to distinguish between real astronomical phenomena and mere artifacts of our observational tools. Many questioned whether this object was refueling at our sun. A civilization capable of manipulating the energy of a star would likely have technology far beyond our current understanding. They could potentially build megastructures, such as Dyson spheres or swarms, to capture solar energy on an unprecedented scale. The idea of UFOs utilizing the sun for energy suggests a scenario where extraterrestrial craft are not just visiting Earth, but are tapping into the immense energy reserves of our star. There are several theoretical methods through which an advanced civilization could harness solar energy, and by extension, how UFOs might be using the sun. A Dyson sphere is a hypothetical megastructure that completely surrounds a star, capturing most or all of its energy output. The energy could then be used for various purposes, including powering a civilization's technological infrastructure or interstellar travel. More realistically, a Dyson swarm, a collection of smaller independent structures orbiting the sun, could perform the same function. If UFOs were using the sun's energy, they might be components of a Dyson swarm, collecting solar energy and storing it for later use or transferring it directly to a mothership or other large-scale vessel. Another advanced method of solar energy extraction is stellar lifting, which involves removing material directly from a star's surface. This process could be achieved using powerful magnetic fields or high-energy lasers to strip away hydrogen and other elements. These materials could then be used as fuel for fusion reactors, providing a nearly limitless supply of energy. UFOs observed near the sun might be engaged in this type of activity, appearing to skim the solar surface or remain stationary near the sun's corona as they extract and store energy. The sun emits vast amounts of plasma, particularly during solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Advanced spacecraft could theoretically harness this plasma, using it as a direct energy source or converting it into other forms of usable energy. UFOs might be seen interacting with solar flares or coronal ejections, capturing and processing this highly energetic material. A more speculative method could involve the use of quantum entanglement to transfer energy from the sun to distant locations instantaneously. While still within the realm of theoretical physics, the idea suggests that advanced civilizations could manipulate quantum states to transfer energy without the need for physical structures like Dyson spheres. UFOs, equipped with quantum technologies, might be capable of siphoning energy from the sun through mechanisms that are currently beyond human understanding. If UFOs were indeed using the sun for energy, the implications would be profound, challenging our current understanding of both physics and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. If UFOs are actively using the sun, it suggests that Earth is being observed, or at least that our solar system is of interest to these civilizations. This raises questions about the intentions of such beings, whether they are benign, neutral, or potentially hostile, and what form, if any, contact might take. Observing extraterrestrial use of solar energy could inspire new technological innovations on Earth. If we could understand and replicate even a fraction of such advanced energy systems, it could revolutionize our approach to energy production and consumption, addressing global energy needs and reducing dependence on fossil fuels. In recent years, a growing body of evidence has emerged, suggesting that unidentified flying objects have been observed in close proximity to the Sun. These sightings, captured by various solar observation satellites such as the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, have sparked intense debate within the scientific community and among UFO enthusiasts. While skeptics often dismiss these observations as mere artifacts of imaging technology, there is a compelling case to be made for the genuine presence of advanced extraterrestrial technology near our star. If we accept the premise that these UFOs are real, we must then consider their purpose. What could an advanced extraterrestrial civilization be doing so close to the Sun? Several theories have been proposed, each with profound implications for our understanding of extraterrestrial life and their technological capabilities. One of the most compelling theories is that these UFOs are engaged in energy harvesting. Another plausible explanation is that these UFOs are conducting scientific research on the Sun. The Sun is a complex and dynamic entity, and understanding its behavior could be crucial for any civilization, especially one that relies on solar energy or lives in proximity to such a star. The UFOs might be equipped with advanced instruments designed to monitor solar activity, study the physics of stellar phenomena, or even predict solar storms that could affect planets in the solar system. If extraterrestrial civilizations are indeed observing the Sun, it suggests that they possess a level of scientific curiosity and technological capability far beyond our own. Their presence near the Sun could indicate a deep understanding of stellar dynamics, possibly even greater than that of human astrophysicists. In addition to energy harvesting, these UFOs might be engaged in resource extraction. The Sun, composed primarily of hydrogen and helium, is a massive reservoir of materials that could be valuable for a technologically advanced civilization. Hydrogen, in particular, could be used as fuel for fusion reactors, providing a nearly limitless source of power. The UFOs might be using sophisticated methods to extract hydrogen or other elements from the Sun's outer layers, storing them for later use. Resource extraction from a star would require technology far beyond anything humanity currently possesses. Such an operation would need to overcome extreme temperatures, radiation, and gravitational forces, indicating that the civilizations behind these UFOs have developed materials and energy shields that are far superior to our own. The possibility that UFOs are real and operating near the Sun has profound implications for humanity. First and foremost, it challenges our understanding of the universe and our place within it. If extraterrestrial civilizations exist and are capable of such advanced technological feats, it suggests that we are not alone in the universe and that there are others far more advanced than we are. Additionally, the presence of these UFOs near the Sun could inspire new scientific and technological advancements. Understanding how these objects operate and what they are doing could lead to breakthroughs in energy production, materials, science, and space travel. It could also drive a renewed interest in space exploration as humanity seeks to understand and possibly interact with these advanced civilizations. Finally, the realization that UFOs are real and operating within our solar system could have profound implications for global security and policy. Governments and international organizations would need to consider the possibility of extraterrestrial contact and the potential risks and opportunities it presents. Boriska, a child prodigy, was born in 1996 and is also known as Little Boris. According to his mother, who is a doctor, she recognized her son's exceptional nature when he was able to hold his head up without any assistance, a mere 2 weeks after his birth. According to her, he commenced speaking a few months after his birth and was capable of reading, drawing, and painting by the age of 18 months. When Boriska, at the young age of 2, attended kindergarten, his teachers were immediately impressed by his exceptional writing and language abilities and his impressive memory skills. This left a significant impression on his teachers, who could hardly believe the young child's remarkable abilities. The young boy has insisted on multiple occasions that he used to be a pilot from Mars and had travelled to Earth. Boriska's parents maintain that they didn't educate their son about space as a youngster, yet he would frequently converse about Mars, planetary structures, and extraterrestrial societies. According to reports, his infatuation with space became his primary interest, and soon after, he began proclaiming to have been born on the planet Mars. According to researchers, he was an introverted young man who exhibited intelligence above the norm. He asserts that there are still many unexplored mysteries on this planet, citing the Great Pyramid of Giza as an example of a structure that conceals valuable insights. Boriska claims that once the Sphinx is opened, using an unknown mechanism located behind its ear, human life will be transformed. The exact details of this mechanism are unclear to Boriska. Boriska elaborates that the incident on Mars was a result of a nuclear conflict among the inhabitants of the planet. According to him, a small number of people managed to survive and subsequently constructed shelters for protection while simultaneously developing new weaponry. According to the boy, Martians inhale carbon dioxide, and in case they visit Earth, they would require pipes filled with this gas to exhale. Boriska, despite experiencing a significant nuclear disaster in the distant past, Mars is said to harbour a community of extraterrestrial beings. He asserts that there are still many unexplored mysteries on this planet, citing the Great Pyramid of Giza as an example of a structure that conceals valuable insights. Boriska claims that once the Sphinx is opened, using an unknown mechanism located behind its ear, human life will be transformed. The exact details of this mechanism are unclear to Boriska. Oddly enough, many have pointed out that there is a mysterious hole that was mysteriously sealed up in the Sphinx's head. The Great Sphinx of Giza, commonly known as the Sphinx, is a grand limescale structure in the Golden Giza Desert of Egypt. The statue is of a reclining sphinx, a mythical creature that combines the head of a human with the body of a lion. The Sphinx is seen as a dangerous, merciless creature in Greek mythology. In Egyptian mythology, however, the Sphinx is a slightly less cruel creature. Unlike the Greek Sphinx, the Egyptian one is firstly male, and secondly is described as more benevolent than the Greek Sphinx. However, they are both thought to be extremely strong and guarded the entrance to temples in ancient times. Today, the Sphinx is a tourist attraction more than anything. Such an incredible architectural feat naturally draws a lot of attention, and historians and researchers have spent years delving into the history of the Sphinx. Naturally, this leaves various unanswered questions. The first modern archaeological dig of the Sphinx was undertaken in 1817, but it was some time before that it had been visited and captured in painting. Around 1798, French painter Vivant Denon painted a picture of the Sphinx, but when it was finished, critics noticed something a little strange. Denon had painted a man being pulled out of the head of the Sphinx. Two figures were helping a third out of the cavernous head of the statue, which had been painted side on. Now, you may wonder whether this was simply a matter of imagination. Perhaps Denon had wanted to add something a little different to the painting. But of course, nobody knew for sure, as it was the 18th century, and the beauty of both aviation and drone imagery had not quite been invented yet. However, in the 1920s, aerial photography had become possible, and lo and behold, what appeared on the Sphinx's head. A hole, big enough for a man to fit through. Naturally, this made Denon's painting all the more interesting. It appeared he'd actually seen people climbing out of the Sphinx, which begged the question, who was in the Sphinx, and what were they doing? Not a lot is known about the history of the Sphinx, or at least there isn't a lot of definitive knowledge, but researchers have noticed that the head of the Sphinx is made from different materials to the rest of the statue. The head appears to be made out of a man-made substance rather than limestone, hence the darkness of the stone of the head compared to the body. Furthermore, the Sphinx's head has hardly eroded and appears smoother than its body. This again points to the idea that the head was somehow interfered with, maybe long before any Western peoples even knew of its existence. But this still doesn't answer the question of why those men were in the head of the Sphinx. One thing that is known is that restoration work has been done on the Great Sphinx. Something to note, though, is that at the time, and as mentioned by Tour Egypt, systematic research on the water table, pollution, and on the properties of the stone and mortar were undertaken. They note, though, that for some unknown reason, these discoveries were not applied when the restoration work was being carried out. It's been theorized that the hole in the head of a sphinx actually led to an ancient underground chamber, which then joined up to more underground chambers beneath the Great Pyramids. This secret city, as it was dubbed by the mainstream media, was allegedly found in March of 1935. Newspapers even covered the topic, and it was speculated that this discovery would have gone down in history as being one of the greatest. However, not one Egyptologist or researcher commented on the findings. It was almost as if every researcher forgot about these initial discoveries. There was complete silence from those studying and working alongside these structures. Back in 1987, a Japanese research team from Tokyo's Waseda University began an extensive underground survey of the regions surrounding the Great Sphinx statue, utilizing groundbreaking technology at the time known as the electromagnetic sounding survey radar, in an attempt to better image the sunken regions of the Sphinx statue. Under the direction of head researcher Sakuji Yoshimura, the team got some of the most accurate 3D rendered images of the statue ever seen, with a strange revelation that no one had seen coming. For some unknown reason, the Japanese survey team discovered an extensive system of cavities and tunnels inside and underneath the Great Sphinx monolith that were believed to have been previously undiscovered. According to the team, south of the Sphinx was a hollow tunnel believed to have been 2.5 meters wide and 3 meters tall, connecting two chambers, a small and large chamber that appears to connect to additional tunnels that stretched north, south, and southeast of the Sphinx's direction. Portions of shafts were found in unconnected areas beneath the Sphinx, with additional cavities found inside the structure of the Sphinx and beside the body of the Sphinx, unconnected to the tunnels beneath the monolith. None of these findings have been pursued after the survey, with many denying the existence of the tunnels and shafts, despite the mountains of clear imaging evidence gathered under the direction of lead researchers. The frustrating thing about this is that there's no conclusion to the mysterious hole seen in the Sphinx's head. We know it was there as we have photographs and paintings, but as of right, only theories can be put forward for why it was sealed up. The ancient Egyptians have filled history with spectacular cultural offerings, from the pharaohs to the pyramids to the Great Sphinx itself. When we as a race discover something that old, it's only natural to begin to wonder whether there is a little more to these beautiful pieces of history than the accepted truths. Who knows what really lurks in the mysterious ancient catacombs beneath the Sphinx? Perhaps one day we might find out. Until that time, though, we can only put forward our theories as to why these chambers have been kept a secret from the public. In the annals of ancient history, few figures loom as large as Queen Nefertiti, the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten and one of ancient Egypt's most iconic and mysterious queens. Renowned for her beauty, power, and influence, Nefertiti's reign during the 14th century BCE marked a transformative period in Egyptian history, characterized by religious revolution, cultural upheaval, and artistic innovation. Yet, despite her prominence in the historical record, the mysterious disappearance of Queen Nefertiti remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the ancient world. Nefertiti's rise to power began in the early years of her husband's reign, when Pharaoh Akhenaten ascended to the throne and embarked on a radical religious reform known as the Amarna period. Central to this reform was the worship of the sun disk Aten as the supreme deity and the establishment of a new capital city at Amarna dedicated to the cult of Aten. As Akhenaten's chief consort and co-regent, Nefertiti played a pivotal role in promoting the worship of Aten and disseminating the ideology of the Amarna revolution throughout Egypt. During her tenure as queen, Nefertiti wielded unprecedented influence and authority, serving as a powerful political and religious figure alongside her husband. Her iconic depiction in ancient Egyptian art, characterized by her elegant profile, elongated neck, and distinctive crown, attests to her status as a paragon of beauty and grace, revered by both her contemporaries and future generations. Yet, despite her prominence and influence, Nefertiti's fate remains shrouded in mystery, with conflicting theories and conjectures about her ultimate destiny. The most widely accepted theory posits that Nefertiti died during the reign of her husband and was subsequently buried in a royal tomb in the Valley of the Kings. However, no conclusive evidence of her burial has ever been found, leaving her final resting place a tantalizing mystery for archaeologists and historians. Another theory suggests that Nefertiti may have outlived her husband and ruled Egypt as a pharaoh in her own right under the name Nefertiti. This theory is supported by evidence of a female ruler named Nefertiti who succeeded Akhenaten and continued his religious reforms, albeit with a more moderate approach. However, the identity of Nefertiti remains uncertain, and it is unclear whether she was indeed Nefertiti or another member of the royal family. Intriguingly, recent archaeological discoveries have reignited speculation about Nefertiti's fate, with tantalizing clues emerging from the sands of Egypt that suggest she may have been buried in a hidden chamber within the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. In 2015, a team of archaeologists led by British Egyptologist Nicholas Reeves proposed the existence of a secret chamber behind the walls of Tutankhamun's tomb, which they believed could contain the long-lost burial of Queen Nefertiti. Although subsequent investigations failed to conclusively confirm the presence of a hidden chamber within Tutankhamun's tomb, the tantalizing possibility of uncovering Nefertiti's final resting place has captured the imagination of scholars and enthusiasts alike. If Nefertiti's tomb were to be discovered, it would not only shed light on her mysterious disappearance, but also provide invaluable insights into the religious and political landscape of ancient Egypt during the Amarna period. Yet, even as the search for Nefertiti's tomb continues, her legacy endures as a symbol of female power and influence in ancient Egypt. Whether as a beautiful queen, a formidable ruler, or a strange figure lost to the sands of time, Nefertiti remains an icon of antiquity whose mystique continues to fascinate and inspire generations of admirers. As of right now, the mysterious disappearance of Queen Nefertiti remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient Egypt, shrouded in speculation, intrigue, and conjecture. From her influential role in the Amarna period to her mysterious fate after the death of her husband, Nefertiti's legacy endures as a testament to the enduring allure of the ancient world and the mysteries that lie buried beneath its sands. As archaeologists continue to uncover new evidence and insights into the life and times of Queen Nefertiti, her story will continue to captivate and inspire generations to come. In a remarkable find within the depths of the Baltic Sea, researchers have unveiled a colossal underwater structure believed to have originated more than 10,000 years ago. This discovery is in close proximity to the well-known Baltic Sea Anomaly, sparking significant interest and curiosity among the scientific community and the public alike. The uncovered structure, shrouded in mystery and antiquity, offers a glimpse into a bygone era of human history, inviting exploration and analysis to decipher its strange origins and purpose. In Europe, this immense structure, thought to be among the most ancient hunting devices created by humans, was built by Stone Age hunter-gatherers. The construction of this megastructure signifies a significant milestone in human history. Researchers have uncovered a prehistoric wall beneath the waves along Germany's Baltic coast, suggesting it could potentially be the earliest megastructure constructed by humans in Europe. This archaeological finding holds significant implications for understanding ancient civilizations in the region. In the Bay of Mecklenburg, researchers unexpectedly discovered a massive underwater wall measuring almost a kilometer in length. The revelation occurred as scientists were utilizing a multi-beam sonar system aboard a research vessel during a student excursion around 10 kilometers, or 6 miles off the coast. This serendipitous finding has unveiled a remarkable geological formation that had eluded prior exploration. Upon detailed examination of the arrangement known as the Blinker Wall, it became evident that approximately 1,400 smaller stones were strategically placed to link close to 300 significant boulders, some of which were deemed too massive to have been shifted by human groups. This intricate structure showcases a deliberate effort to interconnect these stones and boulders, suggesting a high level of planning and coordination in its creation. The recently uncovered sunken wall, hailed as a remarkable find, lies beneath a depth of 21 meters of water. Despite its submerged state, Researchers posit that this ancient structure was likely built by early hunter-gatherer communities over 10,000 years ago, possibly on the shores of a lake or near a marsh. The precise function of the wall remains elusive, yet researchers speculate that it functioned as a thoroughfare for hunters chasing after groups of reindeer. This structure, believed to be a driving lane, was likely utilized to maneuver and direct the movements of herds during hunting expeditions. In his statement at the Leibniz Institute for Baltic Sea Research in Warnemünde, a coastal town in Germany, Jacob Geersen mentioned that when animals are being pursued, they tend to adhere to certain structures and usually avoid attempting to leap over them. Geersen's observation sheds light on the behavior of animals when they are in flight mode, showcasing a tendency to follow established paths rather than engaging in risky behaviors. The concept involves the strategic implementation of an artificial bottleneck, using either a secondary barrier or the shoreline of the lake. This approach aims to control the flow or movement by restricting or diverting the path through engineered obstacles. In a report published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, researchers suggest the existence of another wall lying adjacent to the blinker wall that could potentially be submerged within the seafloor sediments. The wall could have potentially herded the animals towards the adjacent lake, hindering their speed and rendering them vulnerable targets for human predators strategically positioned in canoes equipped with spears or bows and arrows. This strategic bottleneck might have facilitated hunters in ambushing the animals as they tried to cross the water body, capitalizing on their reduced mobility due to the water obstacle. Geersen and his team have evaluated the 971-meter-long wall's dimensions and structure, leading them to doubt that natural occurrences were responsible for its formation. They dismiss the possibility of a massive tsunami relocating the stones or a glacier leaving them behind. This in-depth analysis suggests that the wall's characteristics and vast size are inconsistent with usual geological processes. The researchers question the likelihood of such extraordinary events shaping the wall, hinting at the presence of potentially unknown factors contributing to its creation. The orientation of the perimeter, typically below 1 meter in height, alters its course upon encountering the substantial rocks, indicating a deliberate arrangement of smaller stones to interconnect them. Overall, the stones comprising the structure are estimated to exceed a weight of 142 tons, underscoring the meticulous planning and effort invested in its construction. The strategic repositioning of the wall, along with the deliberate placement of smaller stones to facilitate cohesion with the larger boulders, unveils a sophisticated design that aims to merge elements seamlessly. The construction of the wall, assuming it served as an ancient hunting path, likely dates back to over 10,000 years ago, eventually being engulfed by the encroaching seawaters approximately 8,500 years back. In accordance with researchers, the blinker wall's positioning places it among the earliest instances of hunting architecture globally, potentially dubbing it as the most ancient human-crafted megastructure on the European continent. This discovery not only asserts its historical significance, but also indicates its potential relevance in the context of ancient human practices and societal structures. Geersen is currently enthusiastic about returning to the site with the intention of reconstructing the ancient landscape in a meticulous manner. He is eager to delve into the depths of the area to unearth not only animal bones, but also valuable human artifacts like hunting projectiles that could potentially be hidden within the sediments surrounding the wall. Interestingly enough, this discovery caught people's attention due to it being found in the same region as the mysterious Baltic Sea Anomaly. In the depths of the Baltic Sea lies a mysterious anomaly that has puzzled scientists and captured the imagination of the public since its discovery in 2011. Dubbed the Baltic Sea Anomaly, this mysterious structure has been the subject of intense speculation and debate, with theories ranging from natural formations to extraterrestrial origins. Located in the northern Baltic Sea, off the coast of Sweden, the Baltic Sea Anomaly was first discovered by a team of Swedish treasure hunters using sonar imaging technology. What they found was a large, disc-shaped object resting on the seafloor at a depth of approximately 90 meters or 300 feet. The object measures roughly 60 meters or 200 feet in diameter and exhibits unusual features, including a distinct circular outline and what appears to be a raised center. Initial reports of the discovery sparked widespread interest and speculation, with some observers suggesting that the anomaly could be evidence of an ancient shipwreck, while others proposed more exotic explanations, such as a crashed UFO or submerged ancient city. As news of the discovery spread, researchers and scientists from around the world became intrigued by the anomaly and sought to unravel its mysteries. In the years since its discovery, the Baltic Sea Anomaly has been the subject of several expeditions and investigations aimed at determining its nature and origin. Researchers have utilized advanced sonar imaging, underwater robots, and diving expeditions to study the anomaly up close and gather more data about its composition and structure. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Baltic Sea Anomaly is its unusual appearance and composition. While some researchers have proposed that it could be a natural geological formation, others have pointed to its distinct shape and features as evidence of artificial construction. The anomaly's circular shape and apparent symmetry have led some to speculate that it could be a man-made object of unknown origin, possibly dating back thousands of years. The expeditionary team made an astonishing discovery during their mission to locate an ancient shipwreck. While passing over the unknown object, they detected a captivating reading that immediately caught their attention. According to the findings of Ocean X, this strange anomaly exhibits an intriguing thickness, measuring approximately 3 to 4 meters, with a surprisingly extensive diameter of around 60 meters. Remarkably, the object rests upon a robust, pillar-like structure, soaring to an impressive height of about 8 meters. It lies submerged between depths of 85 to 90 meters, beneath an area characterized by extremely poor visibility, which poses a significant challenge for the team as they attempt to observe their surroundings. Interestingly, the team encountered a series of equipment malfunctions during their initial encounter with the anomaly. These malfunctions inexplicably ceased as soon as they moved past the mysterious object. At first, the team dismissed this as mere coincidence. However, when they retraced their steps and encountered the same equipment issues again, they began to entertain the notion that the object emits some kind of electromagnetic field. In order to test this hypothesis, the team conducted multiple experiments and, astonishingly, they consistently experienced equipment failure whenever they approached the anomaly. The team's fascinating findings have sparked a multitude of questions and speculations. Their exploration and analysis of the mysterious object, coupled with the data they have collected, have opened up new avenues of investigation in uncovering the true nature and significance of this captivating discovery. According to the account of experienced diver Stefan Hogeborn, he encountered a truly remarkable and unexplainable phenomenon during one of his dives. He noted that when he and his team came into close proximity to a certain object underwater, all their electronic devices, including a satellite phone, inexplicably ceased to function. This bizarre occurrence left them perplexed and intrigued. However, as they gradually distanced themselves from the object, approximately 200 meters away, their devices miraculously started working again, as if the interference had magically vanished. Astonishingly, once they returned above the mysterious object, their electronic devices once again malfunctioned, leaving them astounded at the inexplicable nature of this event. The photographs were sent to various universities for analysis, and their consensus was that the object in question was a result of natural formation. However, the divers who encountered the object strongly dispute this conclusion. They argue that natural formations lack the capability to deactivate electrical equipment or exhibit a distinct disc-like shape. These divers question the notion that the object could be simply attributed to the forces of nature alone. Perhaps the most tantalizing possibility is that the Baltic Sea Anomaly could be of extraterrestrial origin, leading to speculation that it could be a crashed UFO or some other type of alien artifact. Proponents of this theory point to the anomaly's resemblance to other purported UFO crash sites, as well as its location in a remote and relatively unexplored area of the sea, as evidence of its potential extraterrestrial connection. Despite years of research and investigation, the true nature and origin of the Baltic Sea Anomaly remain elusive. While some researchers continue to study the anomaly in the hopes of unraveling its mysteries, others remain skeptical of its significance and question whether it is anything more than a natural geological formation. For now, the Baltic Sea Anomaly remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the deep sea, continuing to captivate the imagination of scientists, researchers, and enthusiasts alike. Whether it is a remnant of an ancient civilization, a natural geological formation, or something more otherworldly, the anomaly serves as a reminder of the vast and still largely unexplored depths of our planet's oceans, where countless mysteries await discovery. Eric Hecker, a former contractor for Raytheon who spent a year at the South Pole, has recently provided a compelling testimonial. He disclosed astounding details regarding a covert space program being carried out in Antarctica. Hecker's unparalleled experience and privileged access to cutting-edge technology at the South Pole Station have granted him invaluable insights that he deems imperative to be disseminated globally. Based in Arlington, Virginia, Raytheon Technologies Corporation is a worldwide aerospace and defense company founded in the United States. By both sales and market capitalization, it is among the top aerospace and defense manufacturers globally. Additionally, it is a major provider of intelligence services. Hecker introduced himself and his work at the South Pole Station as a craftsman and firefighter before starting his testimony. He stressed that the technology at that location, specifically the ice cube neutrino detector, has additional objectives that are not publicly acknowledged. In 2010, he claims to have been chosen to travel to the South Pole Station in Antarctica. He spent a full year there as an employee of Raytheon Polar Services, a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. The paperwork he showed revealed the presence of 5,150 embedded digital optical modules in the ice, each capable of transmitting at a voltage of over 2,000 volts. This discovery implies that the neutrino detector has advanced powers that go beyond simply listening and can successfully operate as a versatile directed energy weapons platform. The size and power of the device indicated its potential for employing deep space quantum communications with spacecraft voyaging throughout our solar system and beyond. In an interview with Dr. Michael Salla, Hecker disclosed that each digital optical module has the capability to transmit at 2,047 volts, establishing it as the most extensive phased array transmitter in the world. Upon making this finding, Eric said that he conducted a study and established contact with other researchers within this area, as it corresponds with the ideas they had put forward concerning directed weaponry and communication equipment designed for spacecraft traveling at speeds exceeding that of light. In his opinion, this detector functions as the communication apparatus for intergalactic communication. Dr. Salla says in the interview that he is fascinated by communication and that the time delay in standard electromagnetic transmission can make it ineffective for long-distance spacecraft connection. He inquires of Hecker whether he is implying that the ice cube neutrino detector has the potential to be utilized for quantum communication. Eric Hecker asserts that his extensive research and documentation indicate a strong inclination towards quantum communication. He highlights that he offers the corroborating evidence on his website to validate these discoveries. Hecker additionally emphasizes that his objective is to present the facts and provide evidence for the worries that others have already expressed. Having personally observed the facility, he asserts that there is an ongoing occurrence and he intends to increase awareness and offer a means to reveal the truth. Hecker went on to describe the many roles played by the South Pole Station, saying that it controls air traffic for off-world ships, such as alien and man-made vehicles that release neutrinos. In addition, he asserted that the facility facilitates superluminal communications, a vital component for interstellar travel. The speaker mentioned Gary McKinnon's previous unauthorized access to NASA's systems, where he discovered evidence of a fleet located outside of Earth. Additionally, the speaker said that the South Pole Station plays a crucial role in enabling contact with this fleet. In his ongoing testimony, Hecker revealed a troubling element of the South Pole Station. He claimed that during 2010 and 2011, seismic activity coincided with the initial activation of the ice cube neutrino detector, suggesting its capacity to trigger earthquakes. In addition, he asserted that the South Pole Station accommodates the ELF, extremely low-frequency system, which was previously thought to be inactive but was subsequently found to be fully functional. He proposed that this mechanism, in addition to other technology, is utilized for malicious intentions. Hecker explored an additional captivating feature of the South Pole Station, specifically the Atmospheric Research Observatory situated in the Clean Air area. The individual asserted that they had observed a potent emerald laser originating from this establishment, postulating that it may serve the purpose of long-distance communication or act as a means of protection. In addition, he expressed apprehensions regarding the power provision at the South Pole Station, highlighting the energy requirements of the sophisticated equipment he observed above what was officially acknowledged. He proposed the existence of either a concealed nuclear power source that existed before the Antarctic Treaty or an undiscovered advanced power system. Eric Hecker's concise testimony revealed the existence of a covert space program being conducted at the South Pole Station in Antarctica. Based on his assertions and supporting documents, it appears that the ice cube neutrino detector has capabilities that go beyond its claimed scientific goals. These capabilities include operating as a directed energy weapons platform, an air traffic control station, and a facility for faster-than-light communications. Hecker expressed worries over the seismic activity that the detector could potentially generate and the existence of a functioning extremely low-frequency system. In addition, he raised concerns about the power supply systems at the facility. This isn't the first time that an earthquake machine has been mentioned. One of the most peculiar reports that surround the inventor Nikola Tesla is that of his oscillating machine that is believed to be able to cause mini-earthquakes within his vicinity that become increasingly more powerful as the machine is left on for a prolonged period of time. Though many claim that the reports are nothing more than exaggerated accounts, the original event was recorded by a reporter back in 1912 after interviewing Tesla, of whom gave a detailed account of his first attempt of testing the machine in practical terms. According to the inventor himself, he brought a small version of his oscillating device, no larger than an alarm clock, and attached it to the steel framework of a building still undergoing construction. After adjusting the oscillator, the building started to tremble, and the steel workers all across the structure quickly came down believing that an earthquake had just occurred. The police had been called shortly after, as an investigation quickly began, causing Tesla to quickly retrieve his device and leaving shortly after. Although many now believe that the story was made up by Nikola Tesla for nothing more than additional media attention, others disagree given the fact that, theoretically, if an oscillating device could match the resonance frequency of an object, it could begin to cause it to vibrate and tear apart similar to that of a violin shattering a crystal glass. The mysteries of Bouvet Island. Bouvet Island, a remote speck in the vast South Atlantic Ocean, is one of the most isolated places on Earth. Officially a dependency of Norway, this desolate island is often shrouded in mist and mystery, earning its reputation as a land of unanswered questions. The mysteries surrounding Bouvet Island are as compelling as they are perplexing, from unexplained shipwrecks to strange geological phenomena. One of the most enduring mysteries of Bouvet Island is the presence of an abandoned lifeboat discovered in 1964. During a routine expedition by a South African survey team, the lifeboat was found on the island's rocky shore. Strangely, there were no signs of recent human activity or habitation, and no records of any shipwrecks or missing vessels in the vicinity. Regrettably, the shore party had an insufficient amount of time to further study their unusual finding. They spent a brief period of time on Bouvet, around 45 minutes, as reported by Crawford. During this time, the men had to perform a reconnaissance of the platform, gather rock samples, and defend themselves against hostile male sea elephants that were displeased by their presence. There was insufficient time to thoroughly investigate the Neuroisa or search for additional indications of life. Considering those limitations, it is highly improbable that the brief search stated by Crawford involved much more than simply walking a short distance from the lagoon in either direction and looking for the most conspicuous indications of bodies or human presence. Furthermore, it seems that none of the future visitors to the island pursued the investigation. Interestingly, the mysterious boat is not mentioned again. However, Bouvet Island was revisited in 1966 by a team doing a biological survey who devoted significant attention to the lagoon. This group determined that the body of water was shallow, had a high concentration of algae, had an alkaline pH due to seal waste, and was supplied with water from the melting ice on the nearby cliffs. However, they made no note of the presence of the lifeboat, assuming it was indeed still there. Alan Crawford appears to be the only person who has shown the least amount of interest in solving the mystery. There was no existing newspaper coverage of the incident at the time, and many who have researched this case have been unable to discover any additional information about the boat or the objects discovered on the coast. There are a few further recent tales of the landing, and oddly enough, no one has inquired about the origin of the boat or made any effort to locate its crew. It seems evident that the boat must have reached Bouvet Island at some time during the 9-year period between January 1955, when the rock-strewn ice-free area was not present, and April 1964, when it was. The time frame is rather limited, and if the whaler was indeed a lifeboat, it should be feasible to determine its origin ship. Furthermore, the beach party of the Protector observed no indication of a camp or shelter, fire or provisions. Furthermore, the existence of a substantial vessel in a lagoon, situated at a minimum distance of 30 yards from the coastline, implies that it either arrived to the island with a complete crew capable of manually dragging it across challenging terrain, or it was deliberately placed there by a smaller party with intentions of remaining on the island for an extended period. However, except for that, everything else is mere conjecture. And what makes this highly unusual event even more peculiar is that the few pieces of information we possess do not entirely corroborate any of the apparent hypotheses. Undoubtedly, this would be the most striking and amorous interpretation, elucidating certain observations made by Crawford. The presence of the whaler in the lagoon, it was placed there by individuals lacking the means to fasten it securely on land and uncertain if they would require it again, and the proximity of a small assortment of equipment. It is unclear why Crawford's copper flotation or buoyancy tank was flattened, but it seems like the kind of action that a group of desperate men with little resources might take. The lifeboat scenario provides the most plausible explanation for the existence of only one pair of oars on the shore. It is possible that there were initially more oars, but they were lost overboard during a disastrous journey. Despite thorough investigation and multiple voyages to Bouvet Island following the discovery of the lifeboat, the mystery remains unresolved. The island's inclement weather conditions and remote location persistently impede comprehensive investigations, resulting in numerous unresolved inquiries. Who were the individuals present in the lifeboat? What factors precipitated their arrival on this secluded and barren island? And what was their ultimate fate? The forsaken lifeboat on Bouvet Island serves as a representation of the persistent mystery of the ocean and the innate human inclination to venture into and comprehend the unfamiliar. It demonstrates the uncertain and dangerous nature of sea expeditions and the extensive unexplored areas that remain on our planet. With the progress of technology and ongoing research, it is possible that future expeditions will discover additional evidence that may provide insight into this mysterious maritime puzzle. Man claims he found hundreds of monolith-like objects in Antarctica. In the age of digital exploration, tools like Google Earth have opened up the world to anyone with an internet connection. The ability to virtually traverse the globe and scrutinize the most remote corners of our planet has led to some astonishing discoveries. One such claim comes from a man who, while using Google Earth, reported finding hundreds of black monoliths scattered across the icy expanse of Antarctica. This extraordinary claim has sparked widespread interest and debate, raising questions about the nature and origin of these mysterious structures. The story begins with Mr. Davis, an amateur researcher and avid user of Google Earth, who often spends his free time exploring remote regions of the globe through satellite imagery. In early 2024, Davis claimed to have stumbled upon a series of black monoliths in Antarctica. According to his detailed observations, these monoliths appeared in various locations across the continent, sometimes standing alone and other times in clusters. The monoliths, as seen from satellite images, were uniformly dark and rectangular, reminiscent of the monoliths famously depicted in Stanley Kubrick's film. Davis's discovery was quickly posted to various online groups that investigate mysterious anomalies in Antarctica, captivating the imaginations of amateur researchers, ufologists, and curious minds worldwide, who all said that this photograph is evidence that something strange is happening down in Antarctica. The idea of mysterious black monoliths in Antarctica conjured images of ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial artifacts, and hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered beneath the ice. Social media platforms buzzed with speculation, with theories ranging from remnants of an advanced prehistoric civilization to markers left by extraterrestrial visitors. Firstly, the resolution of satellite images available on Google Earth can be limited, often resulting in pixelation and artifacts that may create the illusion of structures that do not exist. High-resolution satellite imagery and ground truthing are essential for verifying such claims. Without these tools, it is challenging to conclusively determine whether the monoliths are real objects or simply anomalies in the data. Secondly, the harsh and dynamic environment of Antarctica poses significant challenges for the preservation of any structures. The continent is subject to extreme weather conditions, including powerful winds, sub-zero temperatures, and shifting ice. These factors make it unlikely for any standing structures, particularly those made of conventional materials, to remain intact for long periods. If the monoliths were indeed real, their material composition and resilience would be subjects of intense scientific interest. Despite these challenges, the possibility of the monoliths being real cannot be entirely dismissed without further investigation. Antarctica has long been a place of mystery and intrigue, with many aspects of its geography and history still shrouded in uncertainty. The discovery of ancient microbial life in subglacial lakes and the existence of large, unexplored cave systems beneath the ice suggest that the continent holds many secrets yet to be revealed. If the monoliths were found to be genuine, the implications would be profound. They could potentially rewrite our understanding of human history, geology, or even our place in the universe. The discovery of ancient structures in Antarctica could indicate a previously unknown chapter of human or pre-human civilization, suggesting that the continent was once habitable and inhabited. Alternatively, if the monoliths were of non-terrestrial origin, it would revolutionize our understanding of extraterrestrial life and contact. In either scenario, the discovery would prompt a re-evaluation of Antarctica's role in global history and prehistory. It would likely lead to increased international interest and collaboration in Antarctic research, fostering new scientific and exploratory missions to uncover the continent's hidden mysteries. In the vast and often mysterious wilderness of the United States, tales of encounters with mysterious creatures have persisted for decades, capturing the imagination of both believers and skeptics. Among these accounts, one particularly intriguing story stands out, that of a fisherman who claimed to have witnessed a Bigfoot emerging from a round hole made in a cluster of fallen trees. The fisherman, choosing to remain anonymous, was enjoying a tranquil day at his favorite fishing spot in a remote, undisclosed forested area of the Pacific Northwest Cascade Mountain. Abundant opportunities for excellent fishing can be found on the eastern slopes of the Cascade Mountains. Back in 2022, a local fisherman had ventured deeper into the forest than usual, following a stream that led him to a secluded area surrounded by fallen trees. As he settled down to fish, he noticed something unusual about the fallen trees. They appeared to form a rough circle, with a large round hole in the center where the trunks had collapsed. Curious and slightly unnerved, he approached the formation cautiously. It was then that he saw something that would forever change his perception of the wilderness. A large, hairy creature emerging from the hole. The creature, which the man described as standing over 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and covered in dark, matted fur, slowly crawled out of the hole. Its movements were deliberate, almost cautious, as if it were aware of being watched. The fisherman stated that he was frozen in shock, watched as the creature stood to its full height, scanned its surroundings, and then disappeared into the dense forest. Shaken and disbelieving, he quickly packed up his fishing gear and retreated to his car. The encounter left him questioning what he had seen, but he was certain that the creature was not a bear or any other known animal. Determined to find answers, he reported his sighting to local authorities and Bigfoot research organizations, hoping to shed light on his extraordinary experience. The man's account adds to the body of evidence suggesting that Bigfoot is a highly intelligent and elusive creature, capable of avoiding human detection. The creature's cautious emergence from the hole indicates an awareness of its surroundings and a potential aversion to humans. This behavior aligns with many other reports, where Bigfoot is often seen briefly before quickly disappearing. The unique setting of his sighting, with the round hole formed by fallen trees, raises questions about Bigfoot's interaction with its environment. The formation could suggest that the creature uses natural shelters for protection or as a means of concealment. Understanding these behaviors could provide insights into how Bigfoot survives and navigates its habitat. The man's encounter highlights the need for continued research and investigation into Bigfoot sightings. While anecdotal evidence alone cannot confirm the creature's existence, it can guide researchers to potential hotspots and behaviors. Advances in technology, such as drone surveillance and DNA analysis, offer new tools for exploring these mysteries. The Pacific Northwest, encompassing regions of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, is characterized by dense forests, rugged mountains, and vast wilderness areas. This region provides an ideal habitat for a large, elusive creature like Bigfoot, offering ample cover and resources. The remoteness and inaccessibility of many areas in this region contribute to the difficulty of studying and proving the existence of such a creature. In the summer of 2015, John Anderson, an experienced hiker and outdoorsman, reported an encounter with Bigfoot near Mount Rainier in Washington state. Anderson was on a solo hiking trip when he noticed large, human-like footprints leading off the trail. Curious, he followed the tracks and eventually came upon a circular den made of branches, leaves, and moss. As he approached, he saw a massive, hairy creature crawling into the den. Anderson described the creature as standing over 7 feet tall, with a muscular build and covered in dark brown fur. The sighting left him both awestruck and unnerved. In 2018, another encounter was reported by the Collins family, who detailed that they were camping in the Hoh Rainforest in Olympic National Park, Washington. During an evening walk, they heard strange noises coming from the woods. Intrigued, they followed the sounds and stumbled upon a circular den structure. As they watched from a distance, they saw a large ape-like figure emerge from the shadows and crawl into the den. The family, familiar with local wildlife, was convinced that what they saw was not a bear or any other known animal. Their encounter added another layer of credibility to the numerous Bigfoot sightings in the region. Interestingly, eyewitnesses described the dens as circular structures, typically 3 to 5 feet in diameter, constructed from natural materials such as branches, leaves, and moss. These dens are often located in remote, hard-to-reach areas, providing Bigfoot with protection and seclusion. The dens appear to be carefully built, suggesting a level of intelligence and dexterity in the creature. The purpose of these dens remains speculative, but several theories have emerged. Some researchers believe that the dens serve as temporary shelters for resting or hiding. Others suggest that they might be used for birthing or rearing young Bigfoot. The sightings of Bigfoot crawling into these dens indicate that the creature exhibits complex behavior and possibly a social structure. The consistency of the eyewitness accounts and the similarity of the descriptions of the dens lend credence to the claims. These sightings provide valuable information for researchers and enthusiasts who seek to understand Bigfoot's habits and lifestyle. While photographic and physical evidence remains elusive, the detailed testimonies of credible witnesses strengthen the case for Bigfoot's existence. Despite the compelling nature of these accounts, skepticism remains. Critics argue that the sightings could be misidentifications of known animals or elaborate hoaxes. The lack of concrete evidence, such as clear photographs or physical specimens, continues to be a major obstacle in proving Bigfoot's existence. However, the persistent reports and the detailed nature of the encounters suggest that there is more to the story than simple myth or fabrication. For centuries, Native American tribes across North America have shared stories and legends of a mysterious, large, and hairy creature that roams the forests and mountains. Known by various names, such as Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and the Hairy Man, these creatures are described in terms that suggest a common understanding of a real and genuine being. For many Native American tribes, Sasquatch is more than a mere legend. It is a revered and integral part of their cultural heritage. Tribes all have their own names and stories for these creatures. These stories often portray Sasquatch as a guardian of nature, a symbol of strength, and a being to be respected rather than feared. The creature is believed to possess spiritual significance, acting as a protector of the forests and the wildlife within them. This reverence underscores the deep connection Native American tribes have with the natural world and their understanding of living in harmony with it. One of the most compelling aspects of Native American encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures is the consistency of descriptions and behaviors across various tribes. many of whom have had little to no contact with one another historically. These accounts describe a creature that stands between 6 and 10 feet tall, covered in hair, with a strong, pungent odor, and often leaving behind large footprints. For instance, the Hooper tribe of Northern California speaks of Omar, a hairy giant that lives in the forests and is known for its immense strength and elusiveness. Similarly, the Yakima tribe in Washington state tells of a creature that lives in the mountainous regions and is rarely seen but always felt in its presence. These consistent descriptions suggest a shared understanding of Sasquatch that transcends regional differences and points to a common, real entity observed by multiple groups. Historical encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures are well documented in Native American oral histories. These stories often involve sightings during hunting expeditions, interactions near tribal settlements, and even stories of abductions and close encounters. For example, the Kwakiutl tribe of British Columbia tells of a time when their ancestors encountered a family of Sasquatch who lived near their village. These beings were described as peaceful but reclusive, preferring to avoid human contact. In more recent times, Native Americans continue to report sightings and interactions with Bigfoot-like creatures. These modern accounts often mirror the historical descriptions, adding credibility to the idea that Sasquatch is a real and persistent presence in the wilderness. The accounts of Native American encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures provide valuable insights for contemporary researchers and enthusiasts. These stories offer a wealth of information about the behavior, habitat, and characteristics of Sasquatch, which can be used to guide modern investigations. By respecting and integrating the wisdom of Native American oral traditions, researchers can develop a more holistic and culturally sensitive approach to studying this phenomenon. The reverence with which Native American tribes view Sasquatch also encourages a respectful and conservation-minded approach to exploring these creatures' habitats. Rather than seeking to capture or exploit Sasquatch, many advocates argue for preserving the natural environments where these beings are believed to live. This approach aligns with the broader conservation efforts to protect wilderness areas and the biodiversity within them. On a quiet evening, a man sat in the comfort of his home, scrolling through the endless possibilities of the internet. His interest in ancient civilizations and their architectural marvels led him to the live webcam feeds of the Great Pyramids of Giza. These iconic structures, shrouded in millennia of history and mystery, had always fascinated him. The live cams provided a unique opportunity to observe these wonders in real time, bridging the gap between the ancient world and the present day. But on this particular afternoon, as he watched the pyramids, something caught his eye that would leave him questioning the very fabric of reality. A strange, monolithic object hovering above the pyramids, an anomaly that defied explanation. As the man watched the live feed, the sun was setting over the desert, casting long shadows across the sands and the ancient pyramids. The scene was serene, almost timeless, as the fading light bathed the pyramids in a golden hue. But as he gazed at the screen, he noticed something unusual. A dark, rectangular shape hovering just above the apex of the Great Pyramid of Giza. At first, he thought it might be a trick of the light, a reflection on the camera lens, or perhaps a passing cloud casting an oddly shaped shadow. But as he focused more intently, it became clear that this was no ordinary shadow or optical illusion. The object was solid, dark, and eerily motionless, hanging in the air with no visible means of support. The object appeared to be a monolith, a large, rectangular structure that seemed almost out of place in the ancient landscape. It was as if a piece of modernity had been inexplicably superimposed onto a scene from antiquity. The man stated that the mysterious object hovered with a sense of purpose, its edges sharply defined against the backdrop of the darkening sky. Realizing the significance of what he was witnessing, the man quickly reached for his phone to capture screenshots of the live feed. He knew that without evidence, his account of the strange sighting would be dismissed as a fabrication or a delusion. As he snapped image after image, he noted the object's unwavering position, its impossible stillness in the air, and its stark contrast against the ancient pyramid below. The live feed continued for several more minutes, the monolith remaining in place. Finally, without warning, the object began to move. It ascended slowly, almost imperceptibly, into the sky, growing smaller and smaller until it vanished completely from view. The man watched in stunned silence, his mind racing with questions. In the days that followed, the man shared his screenshots and his story online, hoping to find answers, or at least to connect with others who might have seen the same thing. The reaction on social media was immediate and varied. Some dismissed the images as doctored or the result of a camera malfunction. Others speculated that the object was a drone or a military aircraft, possibly conducting surveillance or some other covert operation. However, the most intriguing theories were those that ventured into the realms of the paranormal and the extraterrestrial. The monolithic shape of the object, its apparent defiance of gravity, and its proximity to the pyramids, a site long associated with mysteries and ancient knowledge, led many to suggest that the object was not of this world. Some speculated that the monolith was a craft or probe from an advanced extraterrestrial civilization, observing or interacting with one of Earth's most iconic and mysterious sites. The shape and size of the object drew comparisons to the monoliths depicted in Arthur C. Clarke's science fiction classic A Space Odyssey, which in the story are advanced alien artifacts designed to influence human evolution. The pyramids, with their precise alignment to celestial bodies and their enduring mysteries, have long been the subject of speculation regarding their potential connection to otherworldly or supernatural forces. The sighting of the monolith above the pyramids seemed to fuel these theories, suggesting that the ancient structures might serve as a beacon or gateway for entities from beyond our understanding. For the man who witnessed the strange monolith, the experience made him question what it was that he witnessed. The incident also reignited his curiosity about ancient civilizations, their knowledge, and their potential connections to otherworldly forces. The rarity of monolith-shaped UFO sightings adds to their mystique. These objects are typically described as enormous rectangular structures that hover silently in the sky, sometimes for extended periods. Witnesses often report that these monoliths appear to be made of a smooth, metallic material, though some describe them as resembling stone or other non-reflective surfaces. The objects are generally seen at a distance, hanging motionless in the air, as if defying gravity itself. One of the most famous sightings occurred in the remote deserts of the American Southwest, where a group of hikers stumbled upon a massive monolith-shaped object hovering just above the ground. These and other accounts of monolith-shaped UFOs share common characteristics. The objects are large, rectangular, and seemingly defy the laws of physics. They are silent, with no visible means of propulsion, and their sudden appearances and disappearances leave witnesses questioning the nature of reality. The unusual shape and behavior of monolith-shaped UFOs have led to a wide range of theories and speculations. Traditional explanations for UFOs, such as misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, or natural phenomena, seem inadequate when applied to these monolithic structures. The sheer size, geometric precision, and mysterious behavior of these objects suggest that they are something far beyond the known capabilities of human technology. A less common but equally intriguing theory is that these monolith-shaped UFOs are remnants of an ancient Earth civilization. According to this idea, advanced technologies developed by a lost civilization could still be operational, hidden away in remote parts of the world or in orbit around the Earth. The monoliths might be ancient satellites or observation platforms that continue to function long after their creators have vanished. Interestingly, for centuries, the pyramids have been the subject of speculation, with many believing that their construction was influenced by advanced knowledge, possibly even from advanced sources. The precision of their alignment with the stars, the sophistication of their design, and the sheer scale of the engineering required to build them have led some to question whether the ancient Egyptians could have built the pyramids on their own. The idea that the pyramids could be connected to otherworldly beings has been a persistent theme in both popular culture and fringe theories. The reports of UFO sightings above the pyramids lend credence to these speculations. Witnesses describe seeing strange lights, often in the shape of orbs or discs, hovering above the pyramids or moving erratically in the sky. These lights are frequently observed at night when the pyramids are illuminated against the dark backdrop of the desert, making the sightings all the more dramatic. Some reports even suggest that the UFOs have been seen emitting beams of light directed at the pyramids, as if scanning or interacting with the ancient structures. One of the most compelling aspects of the UFO sightings above the pyramids is the consistency of the reports. Over the years, numerous eyewitnesses, including locals, tourists, and even military personnel, have come forward with accounts of seeing strange objects in the sky above Giza. These sightings have been documented in photographs and videos, many of which have been circulated widely on the internet and analysed by UFO researchers. In one of the most well-known cases, a group of tourists visiting the pyramids at night captured footage of a glowing orb hovering above the Great Pyramid. The orb moved slowly and silently, casting a bright light on the ancient stone before suddenly shooting off into the sky at an incredible speed. The footage, later shared online, sparked a wave of interest and debate, with many viewers convinced that the orb was not of earthly origin.